Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we're going to continue making our crochet doll. Today we're going to make the parts of the face, from the ears, the hair, the eyebrows, the eyes, the rosy cheeks, and also I'm going to show you how I sew in the mouth part of our doll. And actually, for people who don't want to use safety eyes, you can actually create the eyes with black yarn, and I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. So grab your yarns and hooks and let's go. So here is where we left off from the last video. We were doing rounds 5 to 12 of single crochets, and your head should look something like this. So the first part of the face we're going to be making are the eyebrows, and you will need some brown yarn, something that is on the thinner side because it's easier to create this miniature parts of the face using a thinner yarn, so lace weight yarn, and also a smaller hook like a 2.5 millimeter hook. Okay, so let's start with the eyebrows. Okay, first you're gonna make a slip stitch, and you're going to chain 4. And then on the second chain from the hook, you're going to make a slip stitch. So it's a slip stitch, not a single crochet. And on the remaining stitches, you're going to make a single crochet. And when you reach the end of this row, you're going to get that stitch, the last stitch from there, and try to yarn over that yarn, that thread, and pull through to close that stitch, and it will look like a small oval shape because that will be the shape of our eyebrows. Make sure to weave in those loose ends so it's not visible when we sew it in later. So make 2 of this and you have finished your 2 eyebrows. The next part we're gonna make are the rosy cheeks, and grab any pink yarn that you have. Start by making a magic circle. Chain 1 and make 8 single crochets inside that magic circle. So 8 single crochets inside our magic circle. So the same with the eyebrows, you have to use very thin yarns like lace weight yarns because it's easier to make miniature shapes using thinner yarns and also a smaller hook like a 2 millimeter or 2.5 millimeter hook. Tighten your magic circle and you have this. Now connect that last single crochet to the first single crochet and it will look something like this. Now chain 1, we're gonna do another round, and this time you're gonna do 2 single crochets in every stitch. So that would be a total of 16. single crochets. So 2 single crochets in every stitch, a total of 16 single crochets. Now connect that last single crochet to the first single crochet of round 2, and we are done with our rosy cheeks. So secure that yarn, cut it, and weave in those loose ends. Tighten that circle, and this is what it looks like. So you're gonna make two pieces for each cheek. The next part is our eyes, and we're gonna be making 2 of these two. And I have this very thick yarn, but you can actually separate. So just use whatever yarns you have at home in your stash. No need to buy special yarns for this project. Just use whatever yarns you have. So this is the black yarn that I have. It's too thick, so I'm gonna separate some of the strands and use this for my eyes. So I mentioned at the start of this video, for people who don't want to use safety eyes and would rather crochet all of the parts of the face, then you can use black yarn. So start with a magic circle and chain 1 and make 8 single crochets in that magic circle. So black yarn is one of the notoriously difficult yarns to work with because obviously the color, but work on it during the daytime and it would be okay. So tighten that magic circle and connect that last stitch to the first single crochet. And you're gonna have two pieces. You're gonna make 2 pieces for both eyes. The next part is the hair. So I have this rust colored yarn and it's also too thick. So it's up to you if you want to use thick yarns for the hair, or but as I mentioned a while ago, thinner yarns or lace weight yarns are easier for miniature face parts or for amigurumi and a smaller hook. So start with a magic circle, chain 1 and 8 make 8 single crochets inside that magic circle. All right, and connect that last stitch to the first stitch of this round. And it looks something like this. Now we're gonna do a second round by chaining one and do 2 single crochets in every stitch. So this is the way to expand or increase the size of your circle. You're gonna do 2 single crochets in every stitch. So that would be a total of 16 single crochets for this round. And we've reached the end of this round. So all you have to do is connect that first stitch to the last, or connect that last stitch to the first single crochet of round 2. For round 3, we're going to chain 2, chain 2, and make 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So make 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So in that same space, make 2 double crochets. And on the next stitch, 1 double crochet. So there is a pattern here. It's 1 double crochet, and on the next stitch, 2 double crochets. So 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and in the next stitch, do 2 double crochets. So this will be your pattern until you reach the end of this round, and it will look something like this. So this is the end of our round, and we're just connecting that first part, or connecting this last stitch to the first double crochet of this round. And that ends our hair. Okay, so cut that yarn and secure it and weave in those ends. And we are done with our hair part. So we're actually going to twist that later. So it will create that kind of that hairstyle for our doll. So we're going to twist it something like this, shape it into this kind of shape, and that goes to the front of the head of our doll. All right, so we are done with the hair. The next part of our video is the tutorial for the 2 pointy ears that we have to sew on top of the head of our whimsical doll. So you have to include 2 holes in the hood later, but don't worry about that for now. Just for now, we have to make that 2 pieces of ears, and we're gonna use brown colored yarn, the same color that we use for the eyebrows. To start our ears, we'll be working on the point and going upward to make a cone shape for our ears. So start by making a magic circle, chain 1, and make 5 single crochets inside that magic circle. When you're done, tighten that magic circle and connect the last stitch to the first stitch. For round two, we're going to increase the size of our cone, and we're gonna start by chaining one and doing 2 single crochets on the next stitch. On the next stitch, do 1 single crochet. And on the next stitch, do 2 single crochets. So that's 1 single crochet and then increase, 1 single crochet and then increase. And connect that last stitch to the first stitch of this round, and that ends round 2 of our ears. For round 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet all around. Connect that last stitch to the first one, and we're done with round 3. To start round 4, we're going to chain 1 and do 1 single crochet in that same stitch. And on the next stitch, you're going to increase or do 2 single crochets in one space. So do this alternately all around this round. So for our beginner amigurumi makers, our beginner or amateur crochet doll makers like me, I encourage you to use free form crochet and don't get stressed too much about the count. Just our goal is to make a cone shaped ears, and if you achieve this goal, you can use any way possible. So that don't get too stressed over the count or the number of stitches for every round. And that's the last stitch. We connect it and weave in all those loose ends, and that's one piece of our cone shaped ears. So you're going to put some stuffing inside if you prefer, but if you don't want to, that's okay. You want to make two pieces for our two ears. So upon measuring the ears on the head of my doll, I think it's too short, so I want to make one more round of single crochets for the final round. So that would be round 5 of our pointy ears, and it's all one single crochet all around. But if you're satisfied with the height of your pointy ears, then it's okay to stop in round 4. But for my doll, I'm gonna make one more round of single crochets for the final round of my pointy ears. So connect that last stitch and weave in those ends and make two pieces for both ears, and it's gonna look something like this. And the only thing left to do is to put together all those or sew in those parts of the face and also make the mouth, which I'm gonna show in the next video. So if you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to follow our crochet doll or amigurumi making series. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!